Well, good morning, good people. It is 11 o'clock already. My God, time is flying by. Literally, in an hour and a half, I'm going to be live streaming. We're going to be watching the New York stinking Giants and scouting them to see if Daniel Jones plays and see if he's something to fear. Get a look at the defense that the Cowboys will be facing, as well as how Jason Garrett goes. I've got Rashid coming over, and I should have made Italian subs because I think he might be throwing up an Italian sub watching the Giants, but we'll see what they got. I got to tell you that this has been great because Thursday night we did the Eagles, Friday night we did Washington, last night we did the Cowboys, and today to finish off 4 days in a row with the Giants. Hope you tune in and we'll have a ball and relax. And I'm trying to get a little something to munch on. We're going to have some meatball subs and some pulled pork today for the game. The good news out there is Adam Schefter seems to have egg on his face. Jerry Jones last night reiterated that, Dak, if this had been the regular season, he would have played. Now, the way we heard the reports that were coming out, and maybe for Adam Schefter, this would be kind of like what happened with Mike Farello. You'll remember Mike Farello was on the fan saying that there might be a tape of Dez Bryant. He said there might, because this is the key thing. He said there might be a tape of Dez Bryant that's 10 times worse than Ray Rice. You could say there might be about anything. Literally. In the same way, Skip Bayless said people were talking about Troy Aikman maybe being gay. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay. But if you're the one that's talking about it, then technically what you're saying is true. People are talking about it, even though it's me that's talking about it, so to speak. So Mike Farello had said that there might be a tape of Dez Bryant that's 10 times worse than Ray Rice on a radio station, on I think actually the Fan, in which case everybody ran with it. It ended up, I think, blowing up a lot more than what he thought it was going to. It literally went viral before things were really going viral, because that was like 2014, I believe it was, or 2013. So this is before things would literally go viral. So that thing blew up. And then Adam Schefter was asked about it, put on the spot, and he didn't want to say, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. He said, oh yeah, we're investigating that. Not knowing that this thing was going to take on a life of its own. And this may be the case of what happened with him saying that, Dak Prescott might not be 100% the whole year, that he didn't think that this was going to go viral and backlash on him the way it kind of has. Where it looks like, if you watched the game last night and seeing Dak Prescott on the sidelines, the way it sounded and all the articles that came after it that Dak Prescott may not play all season, you would think that his arm was literally hanging by a thread. He was out there pumping the fist. He was there throwing passes before the game, they say, with a lot of zip and everything else. And the team said that this week, and this is where I think it's going to be interesting, I don't know this for sure, but at some point, I think the practices start being closed to the public. I still believe that this was made bigger than it really was, because you're trying to get publicity for Hard Knocks even bigger. You're Jerry Jones, even though you have the most valuable franchise and everything else. You want to make sure that you hit it out of the park with Hard Knocks. You want it to be the biggest Hard Knocks ever, because it's the ego game. And I think that more was made out of this than anything else. And in fact, here's where it's crazy. Here you have Carson Wentz out there, who has had back injuries, knee injuries, rib injuries, and now ankle injuries, who played in one playoff game and got injured in that one. Literally gets traded to Indianapolis, and the first practice with non-contact, hurts his ankle, has surgery on it. And the beginning of the season is in doubt. Right? That's hardly talked about at all. Period. Dak Prescott, it's everything. Every article, every story, every show out there, Dak Prescott, oh, he might not be 100%. Well, the Colts are hoping that Carson Wentz is ready to start the season, but if you're the Colts, knowing that he got hurt in a non-contact drill, literally just running outside, do you think that he is going to be able to stay during the season? Do you believe that him coming off of ankle surgery, that he's going to be 100%? Do you think Joe Burrow coming off of ACL surgery, who, still got a brace, is he going to be 100%? Who knows? They don't talk about those things. Only Dak Prescott. But the word is, Dak is back to practice next week. Dak will be ready for week 1. And Adam Schefer has got egg on his face. That's all I can tell you, okay? From what I've seen, from what I've heard from people who've been at practice, what I've heard from others close to Dak, this was never as big as it was made up to be. Had it been something more serious, in the amount of time that they had, they would have done surgery on it to correct it, to make sure that he would be ready at some point early in the season. But this was deemed, basically a soft tissue injury. You have to understand that Dak Prescott, probably because he is so driven, wanting to get back, practicing, wanting to get back there, ended up, even when his ankle wouldn't enable him to be able to go out and stand and throw, would be in his house, sitting on his ass, throwing the football just to keep that arm going and in shape. And what you have to understand about throwing the football is this. People always say it's your arm strength, okay? I threw shot put. I don't have huge arms or anything like that. But it's not just the arm. You can't literally have like a dead arm and throw shot put. But what you have to understand, and when you see the Dak dance, you understand this a little bit more. And the same thing with pitching. It's about using your whole body and creating a whipping action. It's taking your other arm and pulling through, okay? Pulling through, which helps pull the rest of the body and twist through it. It's also being able to plant your foot and being able to push off to drive that ball, which is part of the reason why when you've watched Ben DiNucci, and Ben DiNucci loses his technique in his footsteps and throws sidearm, he doesn't have the same power following through. It's the misconception that he's got a cannon arm. It's not just a cannon arm. It's actually having the body to be able to pull through it as well. You have to have all of those mechanics there together working in unison. And with Dak Prescott, with Dak not able to stand up, not being able to step through because he's healing on his ankle, and using just the arm and the shoulder and the back, probably used it too much. And then finally, when he got the green light, is going balls to the wall because he's on a mission. He'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. And what I saw from last night from our offense, the offensive line played pretty well. I'm going to go into the offensive line a little bit later because the Cowboys did a couple interesting things last night, and a lot of people were, hard on the offensive line. Last night was the experiment game for the Dallas Cowboys offensive line. They used so many different combinations on the offensive line that would make your head spin. You had Terrence Steele play more snaps than anybody else, and he played right tackle and he played left tackle. You had Connor Williams play more at center than he did at guard. You ended up having everybody, with the exception of Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, and Lyle Collins, moving all over the line, which is part of the reason why there may not have been as much cohesion as you thought. So I'll go into that a little bit more later. I'm actually going to go in here and get stuff together because a little over an hour. We'll be back on live. So I appreciate seeing each and every one of you guys as well as you ladies. And we're going to have some fun today. Peace.